Why don't none of the other religions get brought up when negative shit happen? It's only God and Jesus Christ that allowed all the bad shit in the world to happen. But none of the other religions, none of the other ones that all worship, do anything. They perfect. You say one thing about God, one thing about Jesus, and now it's all this shit. Now everybody got all this negative shit to say. Nothing positive. You can't just have a positive conversation, even if you bring up facts. Even if you bring up facts. Even if you bring up facts. It's nothing but negative shit they want to say. Y'all got all this to say. Which one of y'all would have got up on that cross? Which one of y'all would have died for everybody's sin? Not just your own, not just family, not everybody in the fucking world. Which one?
What's going on, y'all? My name is Doku D, and today we're going to be talking about Rula. Now, Rula is a TikToker who used to do a bunch of jumping around stupid shit on TikTok, and now he does a bunch of jumping around stupid shit in the name of Christianity on TikTok, and he does it in the most obnoxious, infuriating, and ignorant way possible. So today, we're going to be talking about a lot of the stupid shit he said, and then I might veer off on a rant or two about all the stupid, dumb, Christian, condescending rhetoric I've been getting on my feed. So let's just get right into it. So right off the bat, we'll address the first thing. The first clip I put in the video, why is the Christian God the only one that gets brought up when bad shit happens? And then he mentions, you know, like, we don't blame the tarot cards. We don't blame Buddha, who isn't a god. We don't blame Allah, which is just God in a different language. We don't blame none of that. So we're going to get into that. So for one, Christianity is fucking everywhere. It's literally fucking everywhere. The United States claims to be, you know, a place where you don't have to adhere to any one religion, but there is one that absolutely absorbs the others like it's nothing here, and that's Christianity. But that's the lazy answer. The real reason why when something bad happens, we liken it to God, like atheists liken it to God because Christians certainly won't, is because you niggas claim for him to be all good, all knowing, and all powerful. Under these three tenets, there should be nothing bad happening. And to suggest otherwise, you wouldn't be adhering to the Bible, and it will be contradictory to the three properties you guys state he has. A lot of Christians will defend this with stating that there's free will, or likening it to Satan, or likening it to Adam and Eve, and we're gonna go through every single one of those stupid excuses. So the easiest one to get rid of is the Satan thing. God is infinitely more powerful than Satan. There's no reason why Satan exists. In fact, Satan exists because of God, and Satan or God at any time could just destroy him. God knows what he will do. He knew what he would have done, and he still allowed him to exist anyway. And he could snap him at any time. He could just destroy him at any time. Like, there's no reason why he would exist. So if he is the source of evil, he is a source of evil that God is actively allowing to do shit, knowing what he will do, knowing the suffering he'll cause, etc., etc. You get it. Next point. So the whole Adam and Eve thing, none of it makes any goddamn sense. None of it makes any sense. And the fact that we have adults who can vote, who believe in this shit, is absolutely abhorrent, bruh. Somebody gotta... Anyway, Adam and Eve, however many fucking years ago, ate from the tree of good and evil, and because of that, that introduced sin into the world because God commanded them not to do this. Except God knew they were going to do it. He knew they were going to do it before he made them, before he made the tree of good and evil, before he made the earth, before he made the universe. He always knew because he's all-knowing. There is no aspect of anything that happens anywhere in any dimension before or after that God does not know about. So he always knew they were going to do the thing he tested them about. Let me ask you something. Why the fuck would I give somebody a test and I know exactly how they're going to answer it? I'm all knowing and I know exactly how they're going to answer it, and I will punish them for answering it the way I know they're going to answer it. That is some sadistic, stupid, illogical garbage. It doesn't make any fucking sense. But moreover than that, we are suffering nowadays. If this is what introduced sin into the world, it's justified that me and you and people across all reaches of the earth, there are children dying overseas. There are children that have had horrible shit done to them on islands. You know what the fuck I'm talking about? There are people starving as we speak, people without shelter, in the rain, in the heat, in the snow, in the sleet. Because Adam and Eve ate a fucking apple? If you legitimately, and I want any Christian who's watching this to be as honest as you really just dig in your brain. Do you honestly believe that justifies suffering all the way up until this point? Really? It justifies a God not intervening for the subjects he claims to love because Adam and Eve didn't listen to an order he knew they weren't going to listen to. He made them not to listen to. Mind you, he made them too. So he made them exactly in the image that they're in. And he knew based off how he made them that they were not going to listen to his order. And because of that, children have to die horrible deaths. People have to suffer day in and day out because of Adam and Eve doing something he knew they were going to do. Make that shit, really think about that shit. But we're gonna move on to the next point. So on the topic of free will does not exist. I'm gonna grant free will so I can have a discussion here, but everyone is the sum of their environment, of things you can't control about yourself, such as whatever, mental developments you have, but your preferences, all these little things you use, and when you make decisions, they all come from a place that you did not control. But for the sake of this, we're gonna grant free will. So there's layers to this free will argument for me. Number one, we're gonna go over this. You people will advocate for free will as though free will in certain circumstances is more important than the well-being of other people who exercise their free will, that they don't hurt anybody else. Bro, if you're gonna sit here and tell me that you would prefer free will over a world that people don't get harmed in, I think you're a piece of shit, to be honest with you. I really do. God is a being who has free will and is somehow simultaneously all good, which some of you would go and say that's impossible, but let's say we'll attribute that to him having godly properties, okay? When you go to heaven, heaven is a place that's supposed to have, well, it doesn't have free will, to be honest, because when you go there, you're not supposed to be able to feel any sorrow or suffering or anything of the sort. So there's a moral question about how moral that is when you have people who have connections to people on planet Earth who, let's say, for example, they have knowledge of them dying and it makes them sad from time to time. That shit would go away in heaven. So that's a violation of your free will. But let's say, because what Christians perceive it to be is a place with free will, but no wrong can be done in heaven. No one can suffer in heaven. So it seems to me that there is a place that exists where free will can simultaneously exist with no harm and no suffering. So why the f don't we have that on earth? And lastly, God gives you free will. And yet if you exercise that shit in a certain way, it results in you burning for fucking eternity. That is what you call coercion. If I provide you a bullet or fucking life, right? If you do this thing I say, I'm not giving you a choice. That's number one. But number two, not all people get the chance to believe in the Christian God, and yet they will still face damnation because they don't believe, haven't accepted Christ. So there are people who haven't even been exposed to it. So do they just use their free will to fucking conjure up information they've never been exposed to before? This shit doesn't make any sense in so many contexts. Not to mention, belief is not a choice, true belief anyway. If you truly believe something, you have to be provided substantial evidence that convinces you to believe in said thing. You can pretend like you believe in something, you can lie about it, but I'm sure you Christian people would agree that God would know the truth. But to truly believe something, you have to be given evidence substantial enough to believe it. So it's not a choice to believe or not. And yet some people, though they haven't been given proper evidence because God doesn't fucking talk to anybody, they'll go to hell anyway, even though they might have been able to believe given certain evidence that would be substantial for them to fucking actually have their mind changed. Because if they just pretend to change their mind, God would know that it's fake anyway. So how the fuck does someone convert if they don't get proper evidence? They don't get to make that choice. So to sum this up, people bring up your God because number one, it's extremely fucking popular. Most people believe in it. And number two, it's because your God is contradictory. You guys constantly attribute good things to this fucking disgusting piece of garbage, but never a bad thing. Even though if he is to have created everything, he would have had to make the bad things. It's unavoidable, no matter what you say. It's unavoidable. There have been so many, and there are still so many evil people who sit behind and hide behind Christianity for why they believe the things they believe in. Because your book has things in it that allow for this kind of evil wiggle room to fucking begin with. And your beliefs allow for just a festering of ignorance and just lack of all will to do any research and make honest conclusions about said research. Admit that you don't know. And so just because you don't know or you don't understand doesn't mean that it has to be God. But lastly, what I want to say, because I don't have much time, right? Lastly, what I want to say is you Christian absolutely make me sick when you get on these platforms and you act condescending about your shit that isn't true, right? About your God that you believe in, that you prescribe to the idea that he's all good, and yet children starve across the planet. How could you sit here and prop up a God who actively allows these things? This is the thing I'm most focused on when it comes to Christians and why I cannot fucking stand you. If you believe in God in the way that he appears in the Bible, or some benevolent God who's looking out for everybody, and you thank him, you get on your knees and you thank him every day for the life you've been given. But what about the life of millions and millions of other people on this planet who are suffering, who've never even been exposed to Christianity and never will be, because they'll die long before they ever get to travel anywhere on this fucking planet to learn about it? What about those people? Every single one of you people think yourself so fucking important, and you perceive your existence to be this great grand thing that you can't think for a second that there's people across this planet who've never had the opportunities you have and never fucking will. And you thank a God every day? Do you think God only cares about you and yours? Because that's what you have to admit when you praise a God for good things to happen in your life. What about everybody else's life? This is why the problem of evil with God is the most, at least to me, the most important fucking problem. Is because how can you have someone who's all good and allow all this shit? How can you fix your mouth to thank this nigga and praise this day in and day out when there are people who look like you who are beaten behind this religion? And what did God do? God didn't do a motherfucking thing, and you would still fix your mouth to thank him? You niggas make me sick. So many of you are so just closed-minded. Anyways, I'ma praise my God. I'ma go for my God. What about everybody else on this planet? When you sit there and you go and you reaffirm the shit that the Bible says and you go, I'ma love my God, you have to reaffirm and justify all the evil on this planet by whatever God has told you to fucking justify it by. Be it Adam and Eve, be it free will, be it all this shit. You have to agree with that shit to some degree. You have to agree with the evil to some degree. For virtue of your God said that this will happen someday, so it's okay. Or it's God's plan, or this, that, and the third. And that's what makes you people so fucking evil, and you don't see it. You don't see it because you're so self-absorbed. You don't have the ability to think beyond a third grade level. You can't think, and that's what makes me sick. I fucking hate, I don't care if I'm fucking virtue sick. I hate Christianity. I hate this shit. I hate Christianity because of the problem of evil. You niggas become evil when you ignore the dilemmas in this problem. Like, that shit makes me sick. Every time I see somebody thank God for something a fucking doctor did, or thank God for fucking their paycheck came on time, or all this other stupid shit. What about can we thank God for saving the world if he would goddamn fucking do it? What about that? You niggas' hearts don't bleed for shit but your own, right? And that should be antithetical to your God whose heart should bleed for everyone, but it doesn't, because he does not step in the way of harm. He doesn't fucking do it. People do it. Good people do it. Not God. God never fucking has, and he never fucking will. Someone who's all powerful, all knowing, and all good who would allow this? You think I'm gonna get on my knees and praise that? You have lost your mind. You niggas need to Christians, you niggas need to seriously sit down and reevaluate what the fuck it is you're agreeing to when you ignore the problem of evil or you make excuses for it. Think about what you're justifying when you say, well, I know children die of cancer and leave their fucking families with horrible fucking lives and shit because they died from cancer and they're fucking stricken with grief. Well, it's all in God's plan. Do you understand what you're saying? Do you really get what you're saying? When you go, it's all God's plan about your fucking life. Yeah, God has a plan for you so you can get a fucking car. You can, I don't know, head start a business. What about people getting their fucking guts ripped out, bruh? Bombed. What about all this other evil shit? Where's God's plan there? You people make me fucking sick, man. That's why this whole Rula shit, it just pisses me the fuck off, because you niggas have such confidence behind this. And then black people, no less. Your ancestors are fucking rolling in their graves watching you make a fool out of yourself over this shit that was taught to you by a white man, by the white people. At this point, I am completely uninterested in having the conversation about whether God is real or not. As far as I'm concerned, the Christian God exists to keep niggas distracted from horrors here on earth, to keep us from focusing on what really matters, to keep us worrying about our own personal achievements, our own personal goods and bads, and all this other stupid shit, so that we never raise a finger to the actual problem, because we're so focused on getting into heaven, or so convinced that he'll get what he's got coming to him one day in a burning pit. Some of you people are so cowardly. If only you could see how stupid that shit is, and put your focus and your prayer and all this other useless energy you put trying to get yourself into heaven because you're so unbelievably weaselly scared of death. If we all could focus on what actually fucking matters, maybe we'd have heaven here on earth. But we don't have that because we have people praising a God who has commanded genocides, who has commanded grape. And it's stupid I even have to say grape. Who commanded misogyny, slavery, stood idly by while people begged for help, begged for it. While atrocities went on for hundreds of years, he did nothing. And yet you people still get on your knees for this piece of trash. You people still associate and tie yourself to this shit. Why? Some people will literally make alterations to the Bible to make it better or more palatable so they can still be a Christian. Why would you want to even be adjacent to some of the shit in the Bible? Why? Why? It needs to die, and it will die. I have to believe it will. I may not be here to see it, but I have to keep on to hope that someday every irrational, disgusting, bigoted, racist, horrible belief will die. I have to believe it. Otherwise, I'll just give up right now. But this shit has to go, man. It has to go. And it's already started. But it's time to let this shit go, especially if you're black. Because most of these things exist to disparage you and other oppressed groups. It's such a stupid waste of time. And every day that goes by, I get more aggressive towards you niggas. I get more aggressive because I hate that any energy is put towards this shit while people suffer on this fucking planet. We could have heaven right here on earth. We have more resources than we know what to do with, right? And we're fighting over dumb shit every single day. And I'm tired of this shit, man. This shit is exhausting. This whole conversation is stupid. God, man. Anyways, I hate that I have to even waste my time talking. At this point, bro, I can't even be bothered to formulate and have a calm fucking discussion about this because I'm so sick of it. I've seen so many people just ignorantly ignoring any argument somebody might provide that goes against their God. It makes me sick, and it makes me feel like sometimes this fight I want to have for a better future means nothing because people are such cowards. Some people genuinely don't deserve to be fought for. Genuinely. Like, if I could have the world I wanted tomorrow, some of you genuinely would not be included, bro, because of the terrible cowardliness that resides in your fucking heart and the ignorance and the resistance to just learn and just get this indoctrination shit out of your head and stop being so averted to being wrong that you just cannot for a second apply yourself to think about all the implications of the shit you believe. You people make me sick, man, but I have nothing else to say. I'm about to have a heart attack over here. If you like this video, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do all those wonderful, beautiful things. I would really appreciate that. Every little piece of support helps me get to the next step with this content creation thing, so I appreciate y'all. If you want to have a membership, it starts at $1. I don't even know what to say, bro. I'm fucking tired. But I'm gonna see y'all niggas later. Peace.